Hi, I'm Shaka Hislop, and you're here at Extra Time TV.
Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andrew Suklal and we have a crowded set today, folks. Once again, we have Kevon Campbell and James Baird. How are you guys?
I'm fine, Andre.
Alright, so it's no big secret Trinidad Tobago will be playing the US at the end of this month on the 31st. James and I spoke extensively about the Trinidad Tobago squad, but the United States men's national coach Gregg Berhalter has announced his squad, and I'll just go through a couple things really quick. The US obviously are ranked 22nd in the world, and Trinidad Tobago is ranked 103rd. That's not good at all. But the squad, according to the US website, is basically a 25-player roster, and it includes 10 uncapped players to face Trinidad Tobago. The group was selected from an initial list of 12 senior team players and 26 under-23 men's national players that began training on January 9th. I'm just quoting this directly from the website. The last 2 weeks, according to Greg, the last 2 weeks have been an absolute pleasure. The hard work and determination demonstrated by the entire group confirms that the player pool is headed in the right direction. As we transition to Orlando, we switch gears and focus on competing as we prepare to face Trinidad and Tobago. So a total of 15 MLS teams are represented in this team, with some hometown boys from Orlando City. So guys, we're going to speak specifically about the US, which includes a couple senior players, Josie Altidore, Paul Arriola, players that Kevon likes a lot, because Kevon is a huge MLS fan. Me, myself, I guess. I don't know about James. I won't speak for James. But Kevon, what do you think about this US men's national team squad?
Andre, because the game is not in a registered FIFA window, Coach Gregg Berhalter had to draw on this pool of players. And Andre, looking at the squad list, I see a lot of players that have a lot of responsibility and can actually break their way into that squad for the World Cup qualifiers. If you look at the team from top to bottom, yes, it's lacking in experience, a lot of uncapped players, but you have a lot of guys who have been sniffing around the periphery of the US team for a while. Guys like Aaron Long, Walker Zimmerman. These two guys are players who I think will need to have good games, and I think that Gregg Berhalter, being an ex-centre-back himself, will be looking to them to provide that cover for USA's starting centre-backs, because if you look at their first-team squad, most likely it's going to be John Brooks and Matt Miazga as their two starting centre-backs. So I think that these two guys will need to play competitive games on the national level, because I think that when the qualifiers do roll around, that they will be the alternates for their two starting centre backs, Brooks and Miazga. But if you go to midfield, is where I see Kellen Acosta being a really big influence, because I think that he has been playing in Texas for a while, and honestly, looking at him in the previous Gold Cup and previous matches, I thought that he was the other guy, the next guy to get that big move to Europe. But it didn't quite work out. Pandemic happened, things changed. But I think a good performance from him and a good play in the upcoming MLS season will be really good for his future going forward, and potentially joining his colleagues in that European dream team that US has. And up front, I think that Josie still has a very important role for the US, because personally, Andre, I'm not too convinced of Josh Sargent as the US starting center forward. So I think Josie has a big part to play. He has tons of goals, tons of experience, and tons of ability. And Paul Arriola, he had a very prominent role in the last Gold Cup. And I think that he can provide that outlet on wide areas that the US could have and could come off the bench when the first team guys roll around again. The US team, I looked at their games between Panama and Wales, and the Panama game was, yes, it was a rout. Wales was a bit harder than no, but I think that this squad is more like the game that they played against El Salvador, and I must reiterate that it's a 6-0 thumping they gave to El Salvador and Panama. So let's hope that TNT doesn't get another 6-0.
Yeah, I know, and I know as James and I were talking about, just based on form in the last couple of games, with the exception of the historic victory against the US, which denied them entry into the World Cup. Our record hasn't been great. In the last couple of games, I'll just go over it really quickly. Obviously, the 6-0, then we defeated the US in that 2-1 game. And it was 2-0, it was 4-0 to the US, it was 0-0, we actually had a draw in there, and 1-0. That was the last 6 games. And I can go on, but I'll base this loosely because this is such an unorthodox game because of the conditions we're in, especially for Trinidad and Tobago. Playing such a strong team. I mean, this is not even, I don't want to even say the B squad because this is a pretty talented team by itself. James, in terms of based on what Kevon said there and your knowledge of Trinidad and Tobago football, do you think these guys have a mountain of a task in this particular game, even though it's just a friendly?
Well, I mean, I think, like we said, all these American players are going to come out to prove a point, I mean, yes, as I say, they may be a B or a C squad, I mean, compared to the normal guys, but they've definitely got some great players in there as well. So they'll be trying to stake a claim for their place, the same way that the Trinidad and Tobago players will be doing the same. So I think it's very much a showcase game. I think we previously mentioned about the 3 goalkeepers. As I say, when I watched them train today, as I say, the intensity that Aaron Hyde has them working at. And remember, they're obviously the American number 1, Zach Stefan of Man City. He's got big gloves to fill in a sense. So the 3 younger goalkeepers there, I mean, it's a great opportunity for them. And as I say, the squad is littered with players. I mean, Kevon mentioned a few. I mean, I am excited to see Andreas Pereira for Orlando City. I mean, he's Colombian, really. He's chosen to play for America. And then there's a few other names there. I mean, George Bello, I think we spoke about it as well, obviously Nigerian descent. An opportunity for him to make his name in the American squad too. And then there's several players, as I say, Kevin mentioned Josie Altidore. I agree totally with what he said. I mean, still has plenty of goals in him. He's a powerhouse striker in a sense. Had a great career. And then, as I say, they have the other experience around them. But it's definitely an inexperienced squad with a little bit of help from the older heads. So it'll be a real interesting game. And as I say, these older heads will just bring them together. But it could be, as Kevon said, I mean, is it going to be a 6-0 like the El Salvador game? I mean, I think Chris Moeller scored 2 in that game. He'll be hoping to bang in a few as well. But it'll be interesting to see if Trinidad can handle the pressure of this game.
Yep, and before I move along, before we even spoke about this, James and I spoke about this, we actually did a video before where we were going to discuss the friendly, and then we realized there may not be a friendly, and now, according to the US and also the Trinidad and Tobago's official websites and Facebook pages, it's on. I'm just going to address that really quickly. For those of you who think that the game is going to be off, this is directly from their respective pages. It was rumored that due to some new rules implemented by the US President Joe Biden regarding traveling to the country, that the game may have been cancelled as part of the new health measures to combat the spread of COVID-19. But an official statement, and I'm taking this straight off the page, the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association wishes to advise the public and its stakeholders of the following. The TTFA has been in consultation with the U.S. Soccer Federation in light of President Biden's executive order on promoting COVID-19 safety in domestic and international travel. The U.S. Soccer Federation, in consultation with the relevant governmental agencies, has communicated that they do not have any concerns with the international friendly scheduled for January 31st, 2021, and is looking forward to welcoming Trinidad and Tobago senior men team to the national thing. So I'm not going to read the entire thing, but the national team will continue its build-up on local soil prior to its departure for Orlando. The final squad, along with travel and other relevant match details, will be announced in due course. So obviously we can't speak much about Trinidad and Tobago because we don't know the squad. James and I, we pay attention to Trinidad and Tobago football and we don't know much. We know Terry tried a lot of players. So we'll speak specifically about, Gregg Berhalter and his men. So Kevon, since Kevon is, very versed with the MLS teams, what do you think the tactical approach would be from Gregg in this particular game?
Andre, I think that going forward, and for this game actually, intensity. I think that what they will do and what he will demand is from the off, go at us, because he knows the state of football in Trinidad, and he knows that these players wouldn't have played together or have any sort of gel or any sort of rhythm. So I think when the US does start, it's going to be intense. It's going to be from the off, high press, high action. And that is what, in my opinion, can be the downfall of Trinidad. But looking at the games, the previous games against Wales and Panama, what he played, I mean, yes, he had other guys like Gio Reyna, etc. But he wanted to keep that consistency, keep that continuity, and have them play under the same mentality. And in my opinion, if you look at US soccer right now and what Gregg is trying to preach is that because he has guys in his backroom staff, former colleagues, guys like Ernie Stewart as the technical director and Brian McBride as the general manager. These two guys are his former teammates. They know him, they know what he can do. And I think their influence on the team is going to be paramount. And in my opinion, they will want to correct the wrong that happened, 4 years ago, 2017? Because if you look at when Bruce left, there was a year of limbo when Dave Sarakin was in charge. Literally like 12 months of the US being in absolute limbo. So when Gregg Berhalter came in, yes, he wasn't the sexy name that, not a Jurgen Klinsmann, but he does know his stuff and you should give him some time. And then once you get those players to gel, things could be better. But his real competition and his real doing what he can do will come later this year when qualifying starts. I think it's end of August, September, the US starts. But I know he has some exhibition games. It would be end of March, I think, and then Nations League. So this is when Gregg Berhalter will start to really earn his keep and show what he can do in these games. And I think he can. And the game and the players, again, they will show intensity. They will show what they want to do. So I think that's how Gregg Berhalter will approach it.
Okay, James, you're probably the right guy to ask this. Obviously, Kevon went into great detail explaining, the US men's national team's approach and how they're doing things. Who benefits from this game more, James? Trinidad Tobago or the United States men's national team?
I think there's benefits from both, but I think there's probably there's a lot more emphasis on the uncapped American players. I mean, I think we spoke before about Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, we don't know the squad that they're going to go with. There's a lot of youth or younger players in there. It's a great shot window for them, but also this American team as well. I mean, I think you mentioned, is it 13 or 16 uncapped players? It's a chance for them to put themselves in the place to get a regular place in this American team. So, as I say, we can't really talk about the Trinidad team too much because we just don't know. We know, as I say, there is some uncapped players. There's players that's previously played in America. And as I say, it wouldn't surprise me if Terry calls up some of the American-based players when they land there as well. So we could talk all day about the Trinidad team, but we just don't know. But as I say, some of these names, especially the uncapped players, I mentioned them before, the goalkeepers, there's a huge opportunity for them. And as Kevon said, that intensity they're going to bring to Trinidad, they're going to come and try and break Trinidad in a sense by putting so much pressure on these newbies.
Yeah.
And that's how they're going to come out and do it. And it's going to be an interesting game because it could go either way. I mean, the Trinidad team could come out and really shock us all because they've not had any local football. They've not had any, they've had the local practice matches like we said, but we just don't know. So it's a real surprise package of a game. And as I say, there'll probably be lots of agents hovering about looking at all these uncapped players as well.
Okay, so this is interesting because as you rightfully said, anything we say right now concerning Trinidad and Tobago football will be speculation, and the real discussion, folks, with Kevon, myself, and James, will be after the game. That's where we'll get a bit more insight into what Terry is about, see the progression from where he's, since he became the coach, he had a lot of obstacles. He's been playing a lot of, local domestic matches with some local teams, which some people approve, some people disagree. So we'll see. Guys, there's really no way for us to really tell, and as quickly as the information comes along, we could probably discuss a little bit further when we maybe get some information from the camp about who Trinidad and Tobago is going to play. But as of now, it's a very strong, young US men's national team, as Kevon explained in detail. It's scary to think that, the US had such a wide pool. I mean, their players in Europe are scary. But this is a great friendly, whether for Trinidad Tobago, whether people agree with it or not. You can let me know what you think in the comment section below, folks. Who do you think are the guys that are going to play for Trinidad Tobago? Will it be US-based players? Will it be the guys in Terry's camp, which has been a wide pool? And how do you think the game is going to play out? So, we'll keep you guys and gals up to date as we get the news. So Kevon and James, it's been an absolute pleasure. You know, we know Kevon loves the MLS. I'm a massive fan of Bradley. I hope he returns one day. He's my guy. I have his jersey. Thomas Rongan gave me a jersey. I hope Bradley returns. Hashtag I want Bradley back. But anyway, so guys, it's been a pleasure. Kevon, where can we find you?
Kev868 on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, James, where can we find you?
Just under my name on Facebook.
James, a man of mystery. And guys, you can find me at Adres Suklal on Twitter, Instagram, and all those other things that people use. And apparently on TikTok, apparently. So guys, like I said, I'm going to end this. Be sure to like, subscribe, and also send in your predictions. The person who get it right may qualify for a prize to win a copy of FIFA 21. Who knows? We'll do a random draw. So let us know what you think in the comment section below. So once again, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. And folks, stay tuned for more.
Just a reminder, everyone, for more episodes with Shaka Hislop, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, interviews, and content.